Get up, let me begin. This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down.
Hello everyone, this is Evan's Picks for UFC on ABC3, Ortega versus Rodriguez. To start off the night, we have Jessica Penne taking on Emily Ducote. Jessica Penne is a UFC vet. Emily Ducote is a newcomer to the UFC. This will be her first fight in the UFC. I am going with Jessica Penne. I am banking on her UFC experience and wrestling and clinch advantage to carry her to a decision win. Ducote has the power advantage on the feet, but if Penne can avoid those big strikes, she should be able to get the fight to the mat, control her, and use her experience and wrestling, as I mentioned earlier, to get a win to start the night. Next, we have Dwight Grant versus Dustin Stolzfus. From what I was reading online, I've been seeing a lot of love for Dustin Stolzfus, and I understand it, but I am going to go with Dwight Grant. I think the longer this fight stays on the feet, the more it favors Dwight Grant, and I think it will stay on the feet for the majority of the fight, because I think Stolzfus is not going to be able to take Grant down very easily. If I'm wrong about that, I think Stolzfus has the wrestling advantage and can win the fight on the ground. But I think Grant should use his power strikes and just striking ability to win this fight by knockout. Next, Dustin Jacoby versus Jung. I just watched some film on these two guys, and I am really not sure where the Dustin Jacoby love at all is coming from in this. I think Jung should be able to handle him pretty easily. Jung handled Kennedy Nzechukwu very, very soundly. I mean, beautiful striking, crisp, and then set up those powerful, vicious elbows. Jacoby, he's fast. I like his footwork. I think that could be the only problem for Jung, but if he comes inside at Jung at all, Jung is going to be able to piece him apart. I think Jung is going to win this by knockout and end the winning streak of Dustin Jacoby. Next, we have Bill Algeo and Herbert Burns. Another upset I'm going with here. I'm going with Herbert Burns. I think Herbert Burns is underrated. If this fight hits the mat, Herbert Burns is going to win it. He is going to submit him. Herbert Burns has the advantage by a long shot on the ground. And I think the greatest advantage for him is honestly the fact that I don't think Bill Algeo can finish him. Bill Algeo is not a finisher at all. If Bill Algeo wins, it'll be because this fight goes to decision. So he doesn't really have to be worried about all that much. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I don't think he's going to submit him because Burns has that advantage. So I think Burns can really win this fight by submission. Next is one of my favorite fights on this card, Ricky Simon versus Jack Shore. I'm going with Jack Shore, the undefeated Jack Shore. He'll keep it in this match. I think he has the slight advantage pretty much everywhere. I think if this fight hits the ground, no matter who gets the takedown, he should be able to use his strength to win any movements on the ground and get the better positioning. I have him winning by decision. I think Jack Shore should, like I said, should just be able to use his strength, outpower Ricky Simon. Great fight. I'm expecting a great fight. These guys are not going to make it boring. Definitely one to watch, but I will go with Jack Shore. And in the featured prelim, we've got Punahele Soriano versus Dalcha Lungiambala. And I'm going to go with the favorite here in Punahele Soriano. I think Soriano has the striking advantage over Dalcha. Dalcha has not looked impressive in his last fights. And Soriano was winning his fight against Cody Brundage before getting caught in that guillotine choke. And I think if he has the same strategy, he should be able to do the same thing against Dalcha. But I don't think Dalcha is going to catch him in that. The only way Dalcha wins this, I think, is by getting him to the ground, and I don't think he'll be able to do that. Soriano should be able to stop his takedowns, and kind of in the Dwight Grant, Dustin Stolzfus way, I think the longer this fight stays on the feet, the more likely Soriano is to win this by knockout, which is exactly how I see him winning. And to start the main card in women's fighting, we've got Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate, and I am going with Miesha Tate. I think Miesha Tate is the more powerful woman. Murphy's path to victory is Murphy's path to victory in almost every fight. I do think Miesha Tate will try and get this fight to the ground and outpower her there. But if Murphy can catch her in an armbar, because that is what she is good at, she can win. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tate is too experienced for that to happen. So I'm going to go with Miesha Tate. I'm pretty confident in it. So I think she should be able, like I said, to outpower her and win this one. Next, this is my pick for fight of the night. Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. I've gone back and forth on this one multiple times. I have settled on Shane Burgos. I think Burgos I give him the striking advantage, and that's just what it came down to for me. I don't see this fight hitting the ground unless someone gets knocked down. So I'm going to go with Shane Burgos. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be a 3-round war, and people are going to love this fight. Charles Jourdain has looked a lot better in his last 2 fights. He looks legit. He looks like a good contender in the division. But I think Shane Burgos, after coming off his last win, he's going to look to build on it, and I think he will build on it in a close fight. I'm thinking a 29-28 decision win for Shane Burgos. Next is in the flyweight division, we've got Matt Schnell and Sumudarji. I am going with Sumudarji. I'm pretty confident in this one. I love Sumudarji. Ever since coming off 2 straight losses, getting these 3 wins has been great for him. He's got the power advantage. He's got the accuracy advantage. He's better at defending. I just don't see where Matt Schnell wins this fight. I think Sumudarji should be able to piece him up in at least the first round, if not the second round. I'm banking on him getting a knockout win. I'm feeling a 3rd round TKO, 3rd round knockout. Could be second. I'm feeling 3rd, but he's going to use at least 1 round to piece him up, and then he'll go for the finish. Next, in the middleweight division, we've got Jingliang Li versus Muslim Salikhov. I got to go with Muslim Salikhov here. He's on a 5-fight win streak. I think he's more powerful. I think Jingliang's only path to victory is getting him down and maybe finding a way to submit him. But I don't think that's going to happen. Salikhov's got too good a takedown defense for that to happen. So I bank on Salikhov controlling the pace, controlling the striking, and getting a win by decision. In our co-main event, we've got the karate hottie Michelle Waterson versus Amanda Lemos. This is my easiest fight by far. It's Amanda Lemos. I am ultimately confident on Amanda Lemos dominating this fight. She has more skill, more strength. I mean, she is just by far the better fighter than Michelle Waterson. I would be beyond shocked if Waterson won this fight. So lock it in for Amanda Lemos if you haven't already. And in our main event of a UFC fight night, which is just crazy, 2 guys with some of the most high-level talent in the featherweight division, Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. I mean, Brian Ortega is coming off an amazing fight with Alexander Volkanovski, where he's been the closest to really put him away with that guillotine. He looked great. And then Yair Rodriguez had a great match against Max Holloway where he looked sharp. He looked like competitive. I'm going to go with Brian Ortega. I think the deciding factor here is the grappling. Yair is borderline the best overall striker in the featherweight division. But I think coming into this, people are going to underrate Brian Ortega's striking advantage. I mean, not striking advantage, just striking ability. And I don't think the striking discrepancy between Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez is like an incredible advantage for Yair, but I do think Ortega has a large advantage on the ground, and I think if the fight goes into the championship rounds, Ortega's going to have more experience in those rounds, and he should be able to wear him out, get him to the ground, find a chokehold, and get a 4th or 5th round submission. Those are my official predictions for UFC on ABC 3.